Have you ever wondered when the first person decided to climb a mountain not because they had to, but because they wanted to? In the beginning, mountain climbing wasn't a sport or a recreational activity, but rather a part of livelihood. People climbed mountains to hunt, to gather food, or to seek shelter. Mountains were seen as formidable barriers and were climbed out of necessity, not choice. Over time, however, this perception began to change. As humans evolved and their needs diversified, so did their relationship with mountains. Simply put, the mountains began to call, and people started to answer. The first recorded instance of mountain climbing as a sport can be traced back to the late 15th century. A Frenchman named Antoine de Ville, a lord of Domjulien and Beaupré, was the pioneer who dared to challenge the norm. In 1492, the same year Columbus sailed the ocean blue, de Ville embarked on a daring adventure, leading a team to ascend Mountaineers, a limestone peak in the French Prealps. This was no easy feat. De Ville and his team had to use ladders and ropes to reach the top, a strategy that laid the foundation for the climbing techniques we know today. This historic climb marked the beginning of mountaineering as we know it. It was the first time someone had climbed a mountain not out of necessity, but for the sheer thrill of the challenge. The climb of Mountaineers stands as a symbol of human spirit and curiosity, a testament to our desire to conquer the unknown. From then on, mountain climbing started to gain recognition as a sport and recreational activity. It became not just about survival, but about the thrill, the challenge, and the sense of achievement that comes from standing at the top of a mountain and looking down at the world below. And so, mountain climbing transitioned from a survival necessity to a sport of thrill and challenge. It's a journey that started thousands of years ago and continues to this day, as climbers around the world challenge themselves to reach new heights and conquer the unclimbed. But how did climbers manage to conquer these towering peaks without the advanced gear we have today? Well, the story of mountain climbing is as much about human ingenuity as it is about physical endurance. From the early days, where simple ropes and hooks were the tools of the trade, to the high-tech gear we see today, the evolution of climbing techniques and equipment has been a journey of constant adaptation and innovation. In the beginning, climbers relied on basic tools like ropes made from hemp or manila and iron pitons, which they would hammer into the rock for support. These were rudimentary and often unreliable, but they set the stage for the more sophisticated equipment to come. Then, around the mid-20th century, climbers started to experiment with new materials and designs. Nylon ropes, for instance, were stronger and more flexible than their predecessors. As for hardware, carabiners and belaying devices made from lightweight aluminium began to replace the heavy iron gear, making climbing safer and more efficient. Around the same time, we also saw a shift in climbing techniques. Instead of the traditional siege-style approach, where climbers would establish a series of camps up the mountain, a new style known as alpine style emerged. This method, which involved carrying all gear in one push to the summit, was faster and required less equipment, but demanded a higher level of fitness and skill. None of these advancements would have been possible without the pioneers who dared to push the boundaries. People like Italian climber Riccardo Cassin, who introduced the use of nylon ropes, or Yvon Chouinard, an American climber and environmentalist who revolutionized climbing gear with his company, Chouinard Equipment. Of course, as gear became more sophisticated, so did climbers' wardrobes. Weather-resistant clothing made from synthetic materials helped protect climbers from the elements, while high-tech boots provided better grip and insulation. As techniques and gear advanced, so did the aspirations of climbers, leading them to set their sights on the world's highest peaks. So, what are these highest peaks that beckon the brave and the bold? Let's start with the most renowned of them all, Mount Everest, the roof of the world. Standing tall at an astonishing height of 29,031 feet, it is the ultimate challenge for mountaineers around the globe. The formidable weather, treacherous terrain, and the infamous death zone are just a few of the challenges that Everest presents. It was in 1953 when Sir Edmund Hillary and Tenzing Norgay first tasted its summit, marking a significant milestone in the history of mountain climbing. Next, we have K2, dubbed the Savage Mountain. It may not be as high as Everest, standing at 28,251 feet, but don't let that fool you. The risks and challenges associated with K2 far exceed those of Everest, making it the second highest yet arguably the most dangerous peak to scale. The first successful ascent of K2 was not until 1954, achieved by an Italian expedition led by Ardito Desio. Finally, let's not forget Kanchenjunga, the third highest mountain in the world, reaching a height of 28,169 feet. Kanchenjunga, with its 5 peaks, is known as the 5 treasures of snow. Its remote location, unpredictable weather, and deep crevasses make it a formidable climb. The first successful ascent to its summit was made by a British expedition in 1955. These colossal peaks with their icy slopes and thin air are more than just natural wonders. They represent the ultimate test of human endurance, courage, and resilience. They have claimed many lives, but they also continue to inspire generations of climbers who dream of standing at the top of the world. The allure of these peaks lies not just in their height, but in the extreme challenge they present to those who dare to climb. But what does mountain climbing look like today in the 21st century? Well, it's an exhilarating blend of tradition and innovation, of personal challenge and commercial enterprise. The spirit of exploration and conquest still pulses at the heart of mountain climbing. But the landscape, both literal and metaphorical, has shifted significantly. The rise of commercial expeditions has democratized mountain climbing. Once the exclusive domain of the hardy and the heroic, the highest peaks are now accessible to anyone with the will, the wallet, and a basic level of fitness. Guided tours and preset routes have made the thrill of the climb a purchasable experience. But this increased accessibility has sparked debate. Popular mountains like Everest are witnessing an unprecedented surge in climbers, leading to overcrowding. The once solitary pursuit of man versus mountain has turned into a bustling highway of climbers, queued up to conquer the summit. This has sparked concerns about safety, as well as the impact on the pristine mountain environment. Safety, in fact, has never been more paramount in mountain climbing. Advances in technology, from state-of-the-art climbing gear to sophisticated weather forecasting systems, have significantly reduced risk. But as the tragic 1996 Everest disaster reminds us, even the best gear and preparation can't fully tame the unpredictable might of Mother Nature. The issue of environmental sustainability has also taken center stage. Mountains are fragile ecosystems, and the footfall of climbers can leave a lasting imprint. There's a growing emphasis on leave no trace practices, which advocate for minimal impact on the environment. Many climbers today view their role not just as conquerors, but as stewards of these majestic landscapes. Mountain climbing has evolved, but the essence remains the same. It's the lure of the challenge, the thrill of the ascent, and the awe-inspiring communion with nature. It's a testament to human resilience and the desire to push boundaries. Today, mountain climbing is as much about respect for the mountain and its environment as it is about the thrill of the climb.